November 14th, 2025. 7 p.m. Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. A Tesla camera is rolling. It captures everything. The argument, the escalation, and then gunshots. 21-year-old Maurice Harrison, known to hundreds of thousands as Girlala, slumps in the passenger seat. Her boyfriend stands outside. The weapon is still at the scene. But here's what haunts me about this case. Girlala had been telling us for months that this was coming. She posted about the abuse. She showed us the bruises. She even recorded videos explaining how he hurt her. So why didn't we listen? And what does it say about us that we watched her pain unfold like entertainment until it was too late? Before we dive deeper into this story, if you're new here, welcome to One Crime at a Time. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss a case. Trust me, you'll want to stay for this one. Let me take you back to who Maurice really was before she became a headline. Girlala wasn't just another influencer chasing clout. She was a 21-year-old hairstylist from Florida who'd built something real online. Over 263,000 people followed her on TikTok. Another 37,000 on one Instagram account, 41,000 on another. She had a YouTube channel too, where about 4,000 subscribers watched her living her life. But numbers don't tell you who someone was, do they? Maurice was a wig influencer, as she called herself. She made Get Ready With Me videos that felt like you were in the room with your best friend. She did funny reaction videos that had you laughing out loud at 2 a.m. when you couldn't sleep. She was openly transgender, unapologetically herself, and she was building a life doing what she loved, making people feel beautiful through her hairstyling work. And like so many of us, she fell in love. His name was Shanoyd Whyte Jr. He was 25 years old. And from the outside looking in, they seemed happy. You could see them in her videos going on dates, buying each other gifts, doing those viral TikTok trends that couples do. They'd been together for several years. They looked like they were in love. But behind those smiling videos, behind those couple goals posts, something else was happening. Something dark. Something dangerous. Maurice started posting different kinds of videos. Not the fun ones. Not the makeup tutorials or the wig installations. She started posting about abuse. She talked about physical altercations with Shanoyd. She showed her followers bruises on her face. She described how he would forcibly remove her wigs during arguments, a particularly cruel violation for someone whose entire artistry and identity was wrapped up in hair and presentation. She told stories about him biting her. Biting. Let that sink in for a moment. In one video that's now being shared everywhere since her death, Maurice talked about her mother's advice on domestic violence. She said she wouldn't let anyone put their hands on her again. Again, that word tells you this wasn't the first time. It tells you she'd been through this before, either with him or someone else. And she was trying, really trying, to stand up for herself. But here's where this gets complicated, and this is something we need to talk about honestly. When Maurice posted these videos, how did people respond? Some people took her seriously, sure. Some people were genuinely concerned. But others? They laughed. They treated it like entertainment. They scrolled past. They watched her explain her trauma like it was just another piece of content to consume between a cooking video and a dog trick. The rapper JT from City Girls said something powerful after Maurice's death. She posted on Instagram stories, "Stop laughing at domestic content. Sometime we stroll and key about very serious things because the person who's telling the story deliver it funny, but nothing is funny about a domestic violence story." And she's right. Just because someone can smile through their pain doesn't mean the pain isn't real. Just because someone can make a video about their abuse doesn't mean they're not in danger. Now, let's talk about what was happening in the days and weeks before November 14th. According to reports circulating on social media, Maurice had been in jail shortly before her death. We don't know all the details about why, but what we do know is this. She was planning to leave. She was planning to get out of this relationship and start over. She wanted a better life for herself. Think about that moment. Think about the courage it takes to decide you're done. To decide that you're going to walk away from someone you've spent years with, someone you've loved, someone who's hurt you over and over, but who you kept hoping would change. The leaving him. He wasn't comfortable with the idea of facing the LGBTQ+ community alone, now that he'd been in this relationship publicly. And maybe, just maybe, he wasn't comfortable with the idea of losing control. Let me paint you a picture of November 14th, 2025. It's a Friday evening. The sun is setting over Lauderdale Lakes. Maurice is in the front passenger seat of a car parked at a home on Northwest 37th Street. Shanoyd is with her. And they're arguing. We know they're arguing because of that Tesla camera I mentioned at the beginning. Someone's Tesla, parked nearby, has a door camera that's recording. And it captures the whole thing. The argument. The escalation. And then the moment that changes everything. Multiple gunshots ring out. Maurice is hit. Deputies get a call about a medical emergency at 7 p.m. When they arrive at the scene, they find Maurice in that passenger seat, wounded by multiple gunshots. Shanoyd is still there. He hasn't run. He hasn't tried to flee. He's at the scene, and so is the gun. Maurice is rushed to Broward Health Medical Center in Fort Lauderdale, but it's too late. She's pronounced dead. Shanoyd Whyte Jr. is arrested right there. He's charged with first-degree murder with a firearm. When detectives interview him, he tells them they'd been in a relationship for several years. That's it. That's all we know about what he said. But that Tesla footage? That's going to be crucial, because it allegedly shows everything. The final argument, the shooting. The truth decision isn't easy. It's terrifying, because the most dangerous time in an abusive relationship is when the victim tries to leave. And Shanoyd apparently knew she was planning to leave. According to social media accounts analyzing the situation, he wasn't comfortable with the idea of his first transgender girlfriend leaving him. He wasn't comfortable with the idea of facing the LGBTQ+ community alone, now that he'd been in this relationship publicly. And maybe, just maybe, he wasn't comfortable with the idea of losing control. Let me paint you a picture of November 14th, 2025. It's a Friday evening. The sun is setting over Lauderdale Lakes. Maurice is in the front passenger seat of a car parked at a home on Northwest 37th Street. Shanoyd is with her. And they're arguing. We know they're arguing because of that Tesla camera I mentioned at the beginning. Someone's Tesla, parked nearby, has a door camera that's recording. And it captures the whole thing. The argument. The escalation. And then the moment that changes everything. Multiple gunshots ring out. Maurice is hit. Deputies get a call about a medical emergency at 7 p.m. When they arrive at the scene, they find Maurice in that passenger seat, wounded by multiple gunshots. Shanoyd is still there. He hasn't run. He hasn't tried to flee. He's at the scene, and so is the gun. Maurice is rushed to Broward Health Medical Center in Fort Lauderdale, but it's too late. She's pronounced dead. Shanoyd Whyte Jr. is arrested right there. He's charged with first-degree murder with a firearm. When detectives interview him, he tells them they'd been in a relationship for several years. That's it. That's all we know about what he said. But that Tesla footage? That's going to be crucial, because it allegedly shows everything. The final argument. The shooting. The truth. But here's the part of this story that makes it even more heartbreaking, even more senseless. This wasn't the first time Maurice's family had dealt with gun violence. Just over a year before Maurice was killed, her brother was also fatally shot. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being a mother who's already buried one child to gun violence, and now you have to bury another? 2 siblings, both gone to bullets, within a little over a year. Maurice's family was too devastated to do interviews after her death, but they did release a statement. They said, "As a family, we appreciate every prayer, kind thought, and gesture during our time of bereavement. Now, we are just praying that justice is served to the fullest degree." Justice to the fullest degree. That's all they want. That's all any family wants when they lose someone like this. A GoFundMe was set up for Maurice's funeral expenses. It raised over $19,000. JT from City Girls donated $5,000 herself and used her platform to speak about how society fails to take domestic violence seriously, especially when it's presented in ways that make us uncomfortable or when it comes from communities we marginalize. Hundreds of thousands of people on social media started sharing Maurice's old videos, the ones where she talked about the abuse. People started asking the same questions. Why didn't we help? Why didn't we take it seriously? Why did we watch her suffering like it was content? Shanoyd appeared before a judge on Monday, November 17th. He was denied bond. He sits in jail now, facing first-degree murder charges, as the legal process moves forward. He's presumed innocent until proven guilty, of course. That's how our justice system works. But that Tesla footage exists. The gun was recovered. And Maurice is gone. Now we need to have a real conversation, you and me. Because this case isn't just about one person's tragedy. It's about something bigger. It's about how we as a society handle domestic violence, especially in the LGBTQ plus community. Studies show that people in the LGBTQ plus community experience domestic violence at rates equal to or higher than straight people. But they report it less. They seek help less. And when they do speak up, they're often not believed or not taken seriously. Why? Because of stereotypes. Because of stigma. Because people have this idea in their heads about what a victim looks like or how abuse happens. And when it doesn't fit that narrow picture, they dismiss it. Maurice was a young, vibrant, transgender woman with a huge following. She was confident online. She was funny. She was talented. So when she posted about abuse, maybe people thought she was exaggerating. Maybe they thought it was drama. Maybe they thought she could just leave anytime she wanted. But that's not how abuse works. Abuse isn't about whether you're strong or confident. It's about power and control. It's about someone systematically breaking you down until leaving feels impossible, until staying feels like your only option, even when staying might kill you. And there's another layer here we can't ignore. Shanoyd was a cisgender heterosexual man who was in a relationship with a transgender woman. According to the social media analysis, he struggled with that publicly. He struggled with what it meant for his identity, how he was perceived. And when Maurice wanted to leave, maybe he saw that as a threat to his control, to his image, to everything he'd built his sense of self around. This is the reality for many transgender people in relationships. Their partners sometimes treat them as secrets. They love them in private, but won't fully embrace them in public. Or they love them until they realize they can't control them, and then love turns to violence. The trans panic defense, though increasingly banned in various states, has historically been used by defendants who claim they were so shocked or traumatized by discovering or being confronted with someone's transgender identity that they responded with violence. It's disgusting. It's inexcusable. And it's gotten people killed. Maurice's death should be a wake-up call. When someone tells you they're being abused, believe them. When someone shows you bruises and tells you their partner hurt them, don't laugh. Don't scroll past. Don't treat it like entertainment. These are real people with real pain and real danger. The statistics are sobering. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe, intimate partner physical violence. But for transgender people, the numbers are even worse. Nearly half of all transgender individuals will experience sexual violence in their lifetime. And when it comes to murder, transgender women, especially transgender women of color, face horrifying rates of violence. Maurice tried to tell us. She really did. She used the platform she'd built, the audience she'd cultivated, to say, "This is happening to me. This is real." And we can honor her memory by doing better, by listening better, by creating spaces where people can escape abuse before it's too late. So let me leave you with some questions. Questions that don't have easy answers. Questions that I hope you'll sit with. Why do we, as a society, struggle so much to believe victims of domestic violence, especially when they don't fit our preconceived notions of what a victim should look like? Why do we treat someone's documented abuse as entertainment until they're dead, and only then do we suddenly care? What is it about the human brain that allows us to watch someone's pain unfold in real time on social media and not feel compelled to act? And here's the harder question. If you saw Maurice's videos before November 14th, did you take them seriously? Did you think about reaching out, about resources, about help? Or did you scroll past? I'm not asking that to make you feel guilty. I'm asking because we all need to examine how we engage with the content we consume. Behind every screen is a real person living a real life, and sometimes that life is in danger. What could have been different for Maurice if we'd collectively responded with urgency instead of indifference? What systems failed her? What people failed her? And most importantly, what can we do differently the next time someone reaches out, the next time someone shows us their wounds, the next time someone says, "I need help"? If this case affected you, if Maurice's story made you think differently about domestic violence or about how we treat people in the LGBTQ plus community, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button. Share this video. Start a conversation. Because awareness matters. Talking about these issues matters. Making noise matters. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out for help. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. The Trevor Project, which supports LGBTQ plus youth in crisis, can be reached at 1-866-488-7386. These resources exist because you matter. Your life matters. And there is always, always a way out, even when it doesn't feel like it. Subscribe to One Crime at a Time if you haven't already. We cover cases that matter, cases that teach us something, cases that force us to look at the world a little differently. Click that bell icon so you're notified every time we post. And drop a comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me how we can do better. Tell me Maurice's story reached you. If you found this case as impactful as I did, watch this next. We're covering another story about domestic violence, warning signs we missed, and how one family fought for justice when the system wanted to look away. You won't want to miss it.